Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Let's Talk, the series that hasn't had a non-film review in a long time. This is your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and today we're talking No Time to Die. Obviously, No Time to Die is the latest James Bond film and the final outing as the character for Daniel Craig. It tells the story of a retired James trying to live out his retirement from MI6 with Madeleine Swan from Spectre. While visiting Italy to gain some closure for Vesper Lynd's death, James is suddenly attacked by Spectre's agents. Considering Madeleine's father was former Spectre, James suspects she has betrayed him and breaks up with her. Meanwhile, a ghost from Madeleine's past turns up and is hunting down Spectre agents, leading James to wonder if the enemy of his enemy is his friend. Right out of the gate, I want to say that I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. It isn't as good as Casino Royale, which is probably my favorite Bond film, but it's easily the second best Craig Bond film in my opinion. The best thing about this film is that there is never a moment where it's just spinning its wheels and going through the motions. It's like Casino Royale in that there are no wasted scenes where things don't matter for the plot at large, like Quantum of Solace or some points of Spectre. Seriously, this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I promise you won't even notice because every scene is engrossing and moving the plot forward. Craig himself is great as always. Full disclosure, I consider Daniel Craig to be the best James Bond after previously being a Connery fanboy. Craig to me is the most human James Bond, where his mistakes are on display and he is clearly distrusting of people he should trust. Craig's Bond has always come across as a broken character, and that has always endeared him to me. He's really leaned into the character at this point, and he owns the moment whenever he's on screen, which is weird for me considering this is absolutely his last outing as the character. What I like most about this is Bond is even more of a loose cannon than normal here, especially because he doesn't work for MI6 anymore. I feel like this has loosened the reins on Daniel and he can just be. He's actually delivering Connery-esque one-liners in this film, and that's in keeping with this movie being less grounded than previous Craig Bond films. There are more gadgets involved here, making the film feel more akin to a more Bond film, which I kind of appreciated being an enormous fan of this franchise. By this point, everyone should already know that since Bond has retired, there is a new 007 because the 00 numbers themselves do not get retired. That being the case, Lashana Lynch has inherited 007 and is the agency's new hotshot agent. I really liked her in this role after previously being apprehensive about this dynamic. If you were worried about this particular bit of the story, rest assured the filmmakers have done a good job here, handling Bond's retirement with a careful nuance, and Lashana herself kills this role. The trailers present her as having this rivalry with Bond, and that element is present, but she's a much smaller part of this film than the trailers would have you believe, and I would have personally liked to see more of her as 007. She and Bond have some playful banter, and Bond gives as much as he gets. In fact, everyone does a great job in their roles here. Familiar faces such as Mallory, Q, and Moneypenny show up and are all excellent, my personal favorite being Q. Lea Seydoux provides the true heart of the film, and you understand her internal conflict as she keeps a secret from James. Christoph Waltz has a small cameo as Blofeld, but even he does really well in the small amount of screen time that he has, which of course is par for the course for the excellent Christoph Waltz. Ana de Armas also has a small role in this film that made me wish she was the Bond girl. She was so cute in this role, and I don't mean physically. She portrays a newbie agent, and she's just so charming and bubbly that you wish she shows up throughout the rest of the film. If you liked her in Blade Runner 2049 and Knives Out, you'll love her here. This brings me to Rami Malek as Saffin. Unfortunately, Rami's character is probably the weakest element of the cast, and it's nothing to do with Malek himself. In fact, I thought he was pretty darn good and threatening when he was on screen. The problem is that he is very rarely on the screen. From memory, he has roughly 5 scenes in a nearly 3-hour movie where he is the main antagonist. It's weird when Blofeld seems like a much bigger presence than Saffin. There were moments where I forgot he was even in this film. Seriously, in the climax, I promise you will forget that he is even still a thing. This could be explained away as the filmmakers wanting to give more screen time to Daniel, as this is his final movie as the character, but you still have to tell a compelling story, and no story is complete without the hero's foil, and this is the crack in the film's armor. Rami is such a brilliant actor, and I feel this movie could have possibly been elevated over Casino Royale if Rami was given a bit more rope, but alas, he has no real presence in this film. Overall, I enjoyed my time with this movie, and I've seen it twice just to solidify my stance. The action is slick and plentiful, the supporting actors are doing a fantastic job, and Daniel is crushing it as a weary and annoyed James Bond. You spend a lot of time with James, so you're getting more of his perspective on the world, but this also means that a lot of the supporting actors and even the main antagonist don't get enough screen time. I would have loved to have more of Lashana, Anna, and Rami in this film, but only the latter is unforgivable considering the role. The ending of this film is incredibly bittersweet, and that seriously elevated the film in my mind because this film actually has real stakes, and you won't believe what happens at the end. An A-. Well, 15 years as James Bond has come to a close for Craig, and it really feels like the end of an era. I'm honestly left wondering where we go from here because we're in a weird place where it feels like they should reboot the series again, but we have such a rich world with these wonderful actors and characters that it would be a shame to lose them just because Craig has retired. I'm glad I'm not the person in charge making these decisions because it cannot be easy. Anyway, this has been your friendly neighborhood Birdman, and I'll see you in the next one.